Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're going to absolutely dismantle a myth I hear all the time. Most folks think AI in project management is just this glorified tool for speeding up tedious chores, right? Like writing updates faster, throwing together prettier plans, or filling out endless spreadsheets. But honestly, that perspective is way too small. The real shift here is massive. AI is actually taking project management and turning it from this manual, exhausting coordination effort into a high-speed, intelligent decision system. So if you want to know how to transform from someone who just chases tasks all day into someone who truly reads the whole system, well, you are definitely in the right place. Let's dive in.
Look at how we used to do things. The traditional project manager is constantly asking reactive questions. Stuff like what's late, who's blocked, or what did we promise the client? You're basically driving while staring into the rearview mirror. But with AI in the mix, we get to ask a completely different set of questions. Things like, what is likely to slip next? Which of these risks actually matters the most right now? Or where exactly should human attention go first? This isn't just a slight upgrade in speed. It is an entirely new way of operating that turns management into a proactive decision engine. And that brings us to a quote I absolutely love. AI is strongest when it helps you see the project earlier, not just report it faster. Think about a really busy bazaar in Jaharabad. The most successful shopkeeper there doesn't win by just standing in one spot, manually tracking every single tomato or piece of fabric. No, they succeed because they notice patterns. They see which items are moving, when the big crowds show up, what needs restocking before it runs out. Their job isn't doing tasks, it's interpreting signals. And project management with AI works exactly the same way. It helps you see those patterns early. All right, moving to section 1, the engine room, what AI actually does. Let's pop the hood and look at 4 distinct functions making this happen.
First off, let's clear something up. AI is not some tiny manager living inside your computer trying to steal your job. Its first real power is actually pattern recognition. See, a project creates thousands of tiny signals. A task slips by 2 days, someone misses a handoff, an estimate changes. On their own, completely harmless. But AI is incredibly good at scanning all of those signals at the exact same time and finding the actual structure hiding in all that noise. It's kind of like trying to sort a massive pile of mixed grains by hand. Sure, a person could do it, but it would be painstakingly slow. A machine with the right filter, it separates what belongs together instantly. AI spots those hidden risky patterns way before we even realize they're forming.
So that brings us to the second power, predicting outcomes. Now, prediction doesn't mean 100% crystal ball certainty. It's more of a best guess based on what it's learned. If a specific approval step always causes a bottleneck, AI learns that history and warns you ahead of time. If you've ever confidently turned your back on a pot of milk on the stove, only to immediately regret it a second later, you know it gives off these tiny little signs right before it boils over. AI is basically the part of you that notices the rise in the pot early enough to actually do something about it. It shifts you from reacting late to responding early. Okay, power number 3, ranking attention. This is a big one. Because, let's be real, the hardest part of project management isn't collecting data, it's dealing with attention friction. Basically, staring at a screen and not knowing what deserves your focus first. AI sorts all those incoming issues into a priority order based on urgency, overall impact, and probability. Imagine a doctor working in an emergency room. They don't just treat patients in the order they walked through the front door, right? They treat them based on severity. AI does exactly this for your project alerts, making sure your limited human brain power goes only to the stuff that truly matters right now. And finally, the 4th power in the engine room, turning info into action. All those scattered facts, like task A is delayed or the client changed the scope again, they aren't actually useful until they fuel a decision. AI bridges that gap. It drafts summaries and even suggests your next moves. It acts just like a translator. A translator doesn't invent the message, but they make it usable for you. By doing this, AI cures that terrible translation friction, teeing things up so you don't have to burn hours just trying to decode raw data. So if you look at this breakdown, it perfectly shows the strict boundary of labor between you and the machine. The project kicks out many small signals, AI jumps in and finds the patterns, but humans absolutely still decide what that pattern means. AI predicts the likely outcomes, humans decide what we're going to change. AI ranks the priorities, humans choose the trade-offs. AI is just a high-speed sense-making layer. It clears away all the information friction, but you, the human, always retain the final critical judgment. Moving on to section 2. Building real project intelligence. How do we take those 4 engine powers and turn a pile of boring updates into a living, breathing system?
Think about the difference between looking at a mirror and looking at a radar screen.
Most traditional tools are just mirrors. They just report the past, what happened, what the current status is. But remember, a project usually doesn't fail all at once out of nowhere. It weakens in patterns way before it breaks in actual outcomes. AI acts as your radar screen. It answers the deeper questions. Where will pressure build next? What is this weird pattern suggesting? It actually helps you see what is moving towards you rather than just showing you the mess that's already there.
To really wrap our heads around this, let's break down the 3 interconnected layers of project intelligence: visibility, prediction, and response. Think of it as, first you see, then you anticipate, then you act. AI contributes the tracking, the forecasting, and the suggested priorities. Meanwhile, humans interpret the context, judge the relevance, and make the ultimate call. But here's the major warning. Missing any single one of these layers weakens the entire system. Visibility without prediction? That's just more annoying reporting. And prediction without response? Well, that literally just creates anxiety. You need the complete chain to make it work.
Let's see how this actually plays out in real life. Imagine you get 3 separate alerts. One task is late, one developer is overloaded, and one approval is totally stuck. On their own, they look like 3 separate annoying fires you have to put out. But AI can connect those isolated symptoms and say, hey, wait a minute, these all stem from one root cause, a single dependency bottleneck. Suddenly, instead of running around fighting 3 separate symptoms, you are totally empowered to just go in and fix the underlying system.
Let's ground this in a real scenario. Picture a team working on a local website launch over in Pakistan. Every single status meeting sounds totally fine. Everyone smiles and says, yep, we're on track. But AI in the background notices this subtle project drift. Design revisions are suddenly taking a bit longer, comments in the chat are way more frequent, completed tasks are being reopened. Nobody has officially declared a crisis, but the pattern is screaming that the project is drifting off course. AI spots these tiny, repeated frictions that usually get normalized, and it flags them before a loud, expensive crisis erupts. It buys you time to use your judgment when it actually still matters. Which leads us to this really profound realization. AI provides the signal, humans provide the meaning. Honestly, people get so scared that AI will make managers less important, but the reality, your role becomes sharper, not smaller. Sure, AI is way better at noticing patterns across massive amounts of data. But only a human understands those unspoken, tricky client expectations. Only a human knows how to navigate delicate team politics. Only a human can sit down and balance the messy trade-offs between speed, quality, and relationship trust. All right, our final section, Section 3, the Lu leader, seeing the system. Let's bring this whole thing together. To really lock in this new mindset, we need to bust one last myth: the difference between just basic automation and true intelligence. Automation removes repetitive labor. It sends the email reminders, it updates the dashboards, and hey, that's super helpful, for sure. But intelligence improves decision quality. Intelligence notices delay patterns before they hit your budget. Remember our core anchor for today? It's all about seeing the project earlier, getting way better raw material for your human brain to process, and moving past just checking off tasks to actually understanding why things are moving the way they are. So we're left with this final, really crucial question to chew on. AI doesn't make project management less human. It makes human judgment more informed, way earlier, and infinitely more strategic. So ask yourself, in your daily work right now, are you just using tools, or are you finally seeing the system? I promise you, once you start seeing projects this way, you will never be able to unsee the patterns. And that is a whole new level of control. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I really hope this completely changes how you view the future of your projects. Catch you next time.